Hello, Michelle Cooks fans. I am making a traditional Syrian meal today called JUDRA, or better known as wheat and lentils. JUDRA is another one of those peasant type meals that is made in the Middle East. It was a very inexpensive meal to make, and it had the ingredients that were always on hand. So just to let you know, we are taking water, salt, number 2 bulgur wheat, and lentils, onions, and oil to make JUDRA. What I have done is I've taken a stock pot, or not even a stock pot, like I would make 2 pounds of spaghetti in this pot to boil. And I've filled it halfway with water. Fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of this is done by eye measurement. So I've taken this, I'm going to try to do the best I can with measurement, and I've put it on high. I've also added a solid tablespoon of salt to the water, and I'm about to add my lentils. Now I have my lentils in this container that used to be a container for like Nescafe, and I'm going to add, I would say, a solid cup of lentils, and you can add a little more or a little less if you guys are lentil fans, to the boiling water. It covers the bottom of the pot for sure. Now, I tend to like a little bit more lentils, so I'll add just a little bit more than that. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to bring this to a boil, and you're going to let it boil for about 25 to 35 minutes on a medium boil after it comes to a full boil, so that when you taste the lentils, you're going to notice they're cooked. They have a bit of a softer texture. In the meantime, I have also peeled, and I am in the process of slicing 3 to 4 onions, white onions, whatever onions you have on hand, for the top of the JUDRA, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Also in preparation, I've gotten out my 9-inch frying pan that has some depth to it, and I'm adding olive oil to it. Now, it seems like a lot, but I'm adding almost halfway up the side full of olive oil, and this I'm going to use to fry my onions. Okay, but I'm not going to do it yet, just getting it all prepared. And see the boiling lentils, and here's my sliced onions. Again, I do a lot of this by how my grandmother and my mother-in-law taught me, which is mostly by eye shot and by some fun measurements, which I will show you in a little bit. I use a lot more onions than my mother-in-law does. She'll only use like 1 to 1.5 onions. I like more onions because it gives a neat sweetness to the relatively bland, salty taste of the lentils and the bulgur wheat. Okay, this has been boiling for about 20-25 minutes, and you can see that they have puffed a little bit. Also, if you're able to take one, I know this looks bad, and you're able to kind of squeeze it in your fingers a little bit, and it gives a little bit of resistance, but yet squeezes, then it's ready to add the bulgur wheat. Okay, so you can see it, and you can also taste them, and they'll be like just slightly al dente, okay, or to the tooth. Okay, here's some of the fun measuring that I talked about. This is the way I learned to measure this with my grandmother and my mother-in-law. So she took an ordinary coffee mug, and she would fill it Okay, and I did it inside a bowl so I didn't get everything everywhere. And I'm gonna dump it into the water. And then she would fill it a second time. Okay, and dump it into the water. Okay, then let me see if I can turn this. Then she would mix it a bit, and then she would take a large, let's say, metal serving spoon. Okay, so it's not one that you would have soup with. It's a little bigger than that. And she would take it and she would stick it and see if it would stand in there. Okay, so that's not exactly standing, which tells me I need to add just a little bit more. I'm showing you again. See, it's falling over. I need to add just a little bit more of the bulgur wheat. So I'm going to grab my thing, and I'm going to do it very slowly. I'm not going to add a lot. Okay. Stir a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to put my spoon in. And you'll see, it'll start to stand. Okay, I mean, it doesn't have to stand like forever, but it'll stand for a second or so. There we go. Okay, that's enough. Now, we're gonna let this boil, and we can semi-cover it with a lid so that it boils out all the water. And that takes about another 25 minutes to a half an hour. If I've forgotten to mention it, I still keep the heat at sort of a medium, and it is boiling, and you can see the water is starting to absorb. Okay, I keep it partially covered like that. It's like it's a jar, and I'll leave it boil like that. Okay, it's just about done. When you stir and you hear that, you can hear that you hear it on the bottom of the pot, that it's getting ready. You want to take a little bit and taste it. Oh, it's really good. Take a little bit. Taste it. If the wheat is at a good doneness, and you'll know because you'll taste it, and it's not mush and it's not crispy. It's something in between, like an al dente. You know it's done. Cut it off and let it alone. At that point, start your oil for your onions on high, and let it start getting the oil nice and hot. And then we're going to add the onions to the oil. Okay, the oil has heated up. Now, it's not at the frying temperature quite yet, because I don't want this to splash all over me. Okay, it's kind of at that sizzle temperature. And I'm adding my onions to this. And believe it or not, this onion frying process can take about 15 or 20 minutes. You want to get them nice and golden brown, a deep golden. My grandmother and my mother-in-law used to cook them till they were just about black. But I don't like it that way, because then to me it just tastes burned. So I go for the deep golden color, and hopefully I can get a chance to show you that. Okay, giving you an idea. This is what it looks like while it's cooking. If it seems to be popping or anything like that, you can pull the heat down just a little bit. And just every now and then give it a little stir like that and let it keep frying. Okay, we're getting really close to that very dark amber color or golden color that you want without going to where it's getting black. Okay, so I will cut this heat in about 30 seconds, I believe, as I'm looking at it, okay, to put into the JUDRA mix. I just wanted you to see kind of what it looks like. You get the idea. You get that darkish color. Okay, I'm going to shut the heat off. Now, here comes kind of the dangerous part. You got to be very careful. So you're going to lift this very gently. You're going to pour it over the top of the wheat and lentil mixture. Okay, and it fogged everything up, of course. And then I'm going to use my spoon to spoon out anything left in here. And believe it or not, most of that oil will get absorbed. Now, some of it will remain in there, and that's okay. It adds a lot of extra flavor. I'm going to stir this and show you what the result is. Okay, I'm going to start to stir this. Like I said, most of the oil will absorb. Some of it will not, but it really does make for a delicious taste. Okay, so I'm trying to do this without losing the camera here. Okay, gonna stir this around. And basically, that's it. You now have a vegetarian meal ready to be consumed. Now, we tend to serve on the side of this a simple tomato salad with tomatoes, a little olive oil, salt, a little bit of raw onion, and you can add some mint to it. Other people like to do a vinegary or lemony coleslaw with this on the side. And the other way my husband loves this is I take lebain, which is plain yogurt, not vanilla, not anything else, plain yogurt, and you mix that together with this. And I make my own yogurt, but you don't have to. You can just go to the store and get it and mix it together, and it becomes a little bit soupy, and that's just his favorite. He loves that. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make JUDRA.